Hi, this is Mr. Rockhill, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about what every ESL teacher wants you to know. I'm going to cover 10 things that I'm sure I've said in class many times, but maybe you have missed some of them because maybe I said them in the first class and you weren't there. And these are just things to help you to learn to speak English faster and better. Number one, I would like to share with you is that open your mouth when you're speaking, reading, or repeating things in class. If you mumble, keeping your mouth quiet and not opening your lips very much, if you mumble, you make it really extra hard for people to understand you because you already have an accent that makes it hard and your pronunciation may not be perfect. So if you mumble and don't speak clearly, people are really going to have a hard time. So open your mouth and practice that way. You'll be much better if you do. Number two, don't speak too fast until you're really comfortable speaking very clearly in English. It's better to speak slower than fast if you want to be understood because your words will flow together too much and people may not catch what you're saying. So stop a little bit between each word, just a slight bit. It will make it easier for people to understand you. The third thing I would like to tell you is that even if you're doing something in class or reading or something that seems simple to you, please go ahead and participate. It's very frustrating for a teacher to see students who are just sitting there reading and not speaking or looking at their telephone instead. Your cell phone isn't going to teach you English. You need to put that away during class. You'll never lose your accent that way. You need to practice, practice, practice. So even if we're reading something very simple, you still have an opportunity to improve your pronunciation. So take advantage of every moment in class. The fourth thing, some students seem to really hate when we have conversation time. They just stand up and go home if we do a conversation. But conversations are spontaneous, meaning that you have to, we say in English, you have to think on your feet. You have to think quickly because somebody's asking you a question that you don't see written. So you have to think just like you do every day in conversation. So when we have conversation time in class, that's your best opportunity to practice like you would if you were just walking down the street talking to somebody. It's the number one skill you want to work on. So please don't leave for conversation. Even if it's hard for you, push forward, keep trying. It's the number one thing we want to work on. Number five, get to know the students in class and sit in different places sometimes. You can get very comfortable talking to the same person and hearing their accent and voice every day, when really if you were hearing other people talking to other people, you would probably learn faster. So change where you sit sometimes, sit with different people so you don't speak in your language. If you sit with somebody from a different country that speaks a different language, you'll learn faster because you can't cheat. You'll have to talk to them. Okay, that's a really good point, I think. Now, number six, we learn a new vocabulary word each day in the beginning of class, and then we learn several more in dialogues and activities that we do. I'm sure most classes we learn more than 20 new words. So try very hard to use them in your speaking and writing in that same week so you don't forget. A lot of you do that, and I appreciate that. In your sentences you write, in your paragraphs, you use the new words. That's a really good way to reinforce them so you won't forget. Number seven, I've put all your vocabulary words online with the pronunciation. So go back online to Schoology or our class website and refresh your memory. Read them again and practice again so you don't forget them. Number eight, force yourself to do something in your native language and then well, let me say it this way. Force yourself to do something that you do every day in your native language and change it into an English event. Let me give you some examples. If you play soccer every weekend, how about trying to play with Americans instead of people from your country so that you'll be speaking English? Or if you go to the gym, try to start some conversations with people that speak English. If you go to church in your language, does your church offer an English service? If they do, try going to that because you're already familiar with what they do in church and you know a lot of the vocabulary will be very similar, but it really give you a good opportunity to try to hear something you understand in English. And of course, all the people speak English, so you can really do well that way. I have several people in my church that come from Spanish-speaking um, countries, and they've done that, and they were able to understand and get to know a lot of Americans that way. When you go shopping, oh, stop a mom and tell her how cute her baby is. Maybe it's better if the women do that. But that'll probably start up a conversation talking about the baby. Ask questions when you shop. It'll give you practice. Number 9, speak English on your job. Really important. Your boss will be happy, your customers will be happy, and maybe you can get the other employees to do it too. And number 10, watch TV and movies in English and use the English subtitles, not the subtitles of your language. That way you can see the words they're saying, and that will increase your vocabulary very quickly. When I went to Mexico last summer, I met several people, young people, who spoke English pretty well. And I asked them what classes they took, and they didn't take classes. They had learned all their English from movies and doing what I just said. I was amazed how much they picked up that way. They could talk pretty well just doing that. So I think you can too. Okay, those are my 10 tips for the day. I hope they help you. Good luck with that. Let me know if they do. Bye-bye.